A kilowatt of energy is more valuable than ever.
We will be facing an unpredictable, volatile world.
In the center of AI is power.
What keeps you two also up at night?
We need smart policies.
Welcome to That Energy Show. This time, I'm not just saying it to our viewers watching, but also to a room of live audience, because yes, as you can tell, we've left our studio and set that we had in the previous episodes, and today we've taken our stuff and come to ADIPEC, and this is where we're filming episode 3 together with an audience at our Siemens Energy booth. Thank you so much. But that's not the only special thing about today's episode. What you'll also see is I'm joined with a new guest, our own Siemens Energy CEO, Bruch. Christian, welcome to That Energy Show.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me. It's great to be here.
And of course, with Karim Amin, our executive board member and head of gas services, a regular guest on our season of That Energy Show. Karim, welcome back.
Thank you so much, Emma.
You're an expert now, right, with the show and all the topic.
Great to be here today.
Christian, I want to start with you. Obviously, I did my homework when I knew that you would come and do the show with us. I went on your LinkedIn and I saw your latest series about understanding energy resilience. So I know this is a topic you're very interested and passionate in, and you have a lot to say. So I want to start today with this audience for our show to ask you, what does energy resilience really mean to you? And what are the characteristics of a resilient energy system in your view?
I think we live in a world, obviously, where things are more unpredictable and more changing than ever before. And resilience at the end, not only in terms of energy, but in everything what we're doing, means be prepared for the unexpected and plan your systems accordingly. Because things are going to be different a year from now than what you have thought today. And if it comes down to energy, it means obviously you have to plan for different options. This is why you need different type of energy productions, different generation technologies. You need different suppliers for certain parts of the components what we are producing in terms of putting things together. And driving resilience is really ensuring that there is a continuous availability of energy, which is at the end the foundation of a prospering society. And that is why resilience is so important in a world which is probably more unpredictable than ever before.
Karim, I want to ask you, when we talk about resilience, do you see that there's a trade-off between resilience, decarbonization, and affordability?
It's the question that I've been trying to answer over the past several years. And I think it's very clear that we need the three of them. This is the key elements of a functioning and reliable energy system. You need the resilience, you need the affordability, and of course, you also need the sustainability. If we don't have a resilient system, as Christian says, then we do not plan for any unexpected plans, then the system does not function, it collapses. If it's not affordable, then it will also not survive. And sustainability is something we need for our future generation and for our planet. So the three topics are not competing, they are complementing. And I think the most important thing now is to understand that the importance is not in one versus the other. The importance is how to complement the three of them and find the right energy mix for each country and for each region based on their own circumstances.
Just to add to what Karim said, I think that is an important message also to convey to policymakers and governments, because unfortunately very often these discussions tend to be from one side. Renewables are bad, or oil is bad, or gas is bad, and at the end it's really the combination which makes the trick. And we also have to recognize that building an energy infrastructure is probably the most complex thing on earth. It's relatively difficult. And obviously I can understand that it's very difficult sometimes also for policymakers to get their arms around this complexity. But there is no silver bullet to solve the problem of really providing sustainability, availability, and affordability of supply. And that is important, that at the end, everybody, whether it's a fossil fuel, whether it's renewables, whether it's grid, has to work in a team. And this is what we have to get across really to policymakers, because we tend to be too narrow-minded sometimes if it comes to energy and energy supply and resilience.
Christian, you make a very good point. We have to work as a team. I have a fun little topic also adding to the team topic, finance, right? Because we talk about these characteristics of an ideal resilient energy system, what we think the world needs and what we need to work towards. Do you think we have the financial backbone to fund resilient energy systems today?
Let me give two answers to that. Fundamentally, there's enough capital in the market to finance energy infrastructure, energy transition. Enough capital is there. But it's important to understand that capital normally should not have an ideology. It's really, capital has to flow where it makes most sense. And where you can get the cheapest energy, where you can get the CO2 down. And you know that the financial system in certain areas is restricted in terms of letting capital flow into certain projects. And I think that is not a smart thing, because we will need gas. We will also need gas for the future. And you have to make sure that I was just coming out of a round table from oil and gas companies. And they sometimes really are struggling to finance their exploration projects, which is needed to get the gas afterwards, to build the bridge, obviously, in the power production. So I think, yes, enough capital is there, but you also have to ensure that it can flow into the projects and technologies which are needed today.
You said you were just at a round table. I believe you two also attended the opening ceremony this morning. There was a lot of clear messages saying, no more energy transition, it's energy addition, no energy traction. We're just adding and adding and adding. Obviously, now we're in the middle of this perfect storm as an energy company as well, with this increased demand for energy in the wake of data centers and many other elements coming in together to form this record demand. There's a lot of talk today now about energy addition and moving full speed to that. Does this shift concern you? Do you feel like we're moving away from an energy transition ambition that we've been talking about the past few years into execution under pressure only?
I have to say I'm always struggling a bit with these buzzwords, right? 5 years ago, everybody was talking about sustainability. Now everybody talks about energy addition. At the end, we have to build, obviously, this complex interconnected energy system, which at the end also protects our planet. And if we would solely talk about energy addition without recognizing that it's our job to do it with less CO2, then I would be concerned. Our job as a company is to do it in a way that step after step it gets also more sustainable by solutions which help really to reduce CO2 compared to other solutions today. And we have to recognize as a world that the CO2 emissions this year will be bigger than ever before. So there is still a big task to resolve, and this is why we need technologies, we need developments, we need smart solutions. But what is true as a statement, and I think this is what Dr. Sultan gave in his speech, is that energy addition is the base of prosperity, and it's the base of so many things that you cannot walk away from the fact that people need energy. And this is what we have to ensure. But no way, and it's also not what I hear, also not here on this conference, no way people throwing sustainability out of the window. This is not what I hear, neither from the big oil and gas, nor from the power utility. We all have a common interest to really make it more sustainable. The task got a bit more difficult. With the energy addition and increase of consumption, today, we need roughly 30% more electricity than we originally anticipated during the Paris Agreement.
Karim, I also want to ask you, adding on to this, today in addition to working in a world where you need to deliver this energy, as much energy as the world needs with minimum emissions, you also don't operate in isolation, right? You're part of a complex ecosystem, which includes policy and politics as well, right? And today, I think this year, more than maybe any year in recent memory, we've seen this global trade tensions rising, tariffs, supply chain rivalries, a lot of new strains, which are not only on the world of politics, but also reflect on the world of energy. How do you keep building an energy system that's supposed to be global, that's supposed to be enough for everybody, in a world that feels maybe more divided than ever before?
I think it connects to the topic of it's not easy, right? So, and the world keeps trying to simplify the topic by really finding one answer. That's the buzzwords that Christian talks about, right? And it's not one answer. It's really a combination of things. I think the beauty of the energy business and the energy topic is that it's always in the center of the global agenda. It's something that connects people together. And then collaboration here plays a major role. And a place like ADIPEC, for example, here today, I heard you saying the world needs maximum energy, minimum emission. This was the message of ADIPEC a year ago. That's exactly when Dr. Sultan took the stage and says that's what we need. And back to what Christian says, I think the message is the same, right? So yes, we need additions, but we need minimum emissions. And how do you get that? Through collaboration, through working together. And a platform like ADIPEC brings more than 250 CEOs, global CEOs from the world. We've seen today, I think, plus 45 ministers coming together, sharing their use cases, sharing their ideas. And together, they can work on the resilience, which is very important. And the resilience is what stands in front of geopolitical tensions. How do you diversify supply chain? How do you create more than one source for critical minerals, etc.? That's what collaboration is all about, and that's, I think, what ADIPEC offers to the energy market.
And do you feel like there's a conflict of interest at times when you try to achieve this?
I believe there's a conflict of interest all the times because companies are looking for doing business. Governments are looking for policies that really looks at affordability. And of course, we all are looking at a cleaner planet, a more sustainable planet. So there is a more than one target to reach. But I wouldn't say it's a conflict of interest. I think it's back to this difficulty and complexity of the situation and how you could use policy, technology, collaboration, all of that to solve for this equation.
Christian, also when we speak now about conflict of interest, maybe since you became the CEO of Siemens Energy now for 5 years, you probably met a lot of world leaders, senior government representatives. Do you get the feeling that the worlds of energy and politics are more intertwined than you thought they would be?
Maybe not as I thought they would be. It was clear that we are a very political business and that there will be a continuous interaction because energy is so fundamental to the prosperity of a society. So no politician can ever disregard energy. And that was very clear from the get-go. What I like very much particular about the region here, I think there's hardly any other region in the world where the interconnectivity between policymakers and business people is so close, and this really moves certain things. The good thing is we need policies. We need smart policies. That is really the enabler to drive innovation, to drive changes, to invest money. And policies are good. And I think what we need to learn between policymakers and business, we sometimes do not speak the same language. We understand different things behind different words. And this is what we need to get right, to make sure that we get as good as possible or as fast as possible in a time where we change the energy system in a speed which has never been seen before. And that is the other thing which I think we have to explain to people. Because sometimes people I hear is it fast enough? Are we transitioning? We are changing the world energy system in a speed which is 5-10 times as fast as ever before. And that is a hell of a journey. And this we need to do together with policymakers, governments, and business.
Christian, you shared earlier what's a message you would send to policymakers around the world. I'm interested, what's something you hear that might be interlinked or very similar in meetings in Washington, in Brussels, in Beijing. Is there some common thread that you hear from policymakers everywhere?
Definitely would say every policymaker has an interest in terms of helping their country to prosper. I mean, there's a common target, right? Make your country better. And one thing what we are trying to convey all the time, make it simpler. Because actually we want to get things done. And that is obviously not always easy to make it simple. But this is what we are trying to convey. But the one consistent message I hear everywhere, I mean, it's really, they want to ensure that societies prosper. And wherever I am, I also continuously hear the commitment to sustainability. Everybody has a different path to sustainability and different views on it, but nobody questions that you have to work on that subject.
Karim, today when we speak of fragmented worldviews, the gas market, which you're leading in, has been through volatility and price swings since 2022. How do you see the role of gas evolving in this era of energy addition, transition, whatever we want to call it, the phase we're in today?
There's definitely a realization now that gas is part of our mix, is the foundation of sustainable and secure energy system. It plays a role next to other technologies, but we see that gas has really redefined itself from being like a transition fuel or a temporary bridge to being a foundation of this energy mix that is healthy, that is secure, that is affordable, and that is sustainable. But as Christian said, in different ways. So you look at projects right now that try to make gas exploration more efficient, less CO2 emitting. You look at how gas is being used in our world. Like, so gas turbines today, for example, are using gas, but they are using gas to shave peak or to provide a very robust system for the intermittence of the renewable. Or it comes with carbon capture, or it comes with a mix of green fuels. So it offers a huge array of solutions, but what it really offers on top of all this is a security of supply and affordability and a backbone for the future energy ecosystem in each of the economies we work in.
We discussed AI. Do you feel like this is a wave and maybe some energy companies like us might be wagering too much on this? Or do you think this is the way forward and we have to keep up?
If you look at what has been said in the plenary session today, and a couple of days ago, Christine and I were also in another conference, FII in Saudi, same message with same intensity has been repeated. We look at our order books and our customers doubling down on AI. I don't feel it's a hype at all. I feel AI is redefining the way we live, is redefining the way we work. And in the center of AI is power that would really provide all the energy AI needs to scale up and to provide the new models. And we are in the center of this as Siemens Energy, trying also to scale and provide this mix we talked about, the security of the supply in a sustainable way, in an affordable way. So AI is here to stay.
I think the risk could be to underestimate it. Because what happens if, the development of the new models and really also using AI is at the end constrained by the availability of electricity. How would people make decisions then on how to arbitrage that in terms of, I put the electricity to the data center or I put it elsewhere? So I think we should also be careful as an industry and as a supplier to the energy market not to underestimate it. I mean, if our customers have a demand and we cannot serve it, it also has a consequence. And this is what we need to understand. So it's a thin line to look from both sides. Yes, the growth is massive, but also it's a risk in underestimating what is needed.
Where does Siemens Energy stand on this line, do you think, today? Do you feel like you've prepared, or are you underestimating it?
Well, if I look to Karim and if I listen to his customers, and they all are not happy that we are moving not fast enough. I think we're doing a great job of ramping up capacities, and I'm really proud of what the teams are doing. But there could be even more, right? And this is now finding exactly this flight curve. But we have to be aware you can only take it to a higher level if everybody goes hand in hand, including our supply chain, including the construction companies, including the one who does the foundation for the civil work, right? So there is so many things which you have to do in parallel. And this is what we are trying to do right. But from what we can contribute to it, we are trying to the utmost, including investing in a lot of areas into the extension of capacity, into the build-up of people, to really make sure we can bring these products to the market what it needs.
Maybe I add to this because we talk a lot about it. I mean, Christian and I and the board, and maybe it's something to share also with our audience. Everybody looks at power companies right now, looks at us and say, hey, this is a great time you're in, there's a huge demand, your business is flourishing and so on. Of course, and it's something we, of course, appreciate and respect. But we also have a responsibility, and that's what Christian is referring to. Our responsibility is to enable all the ecosystem around us to provide this demand that is needed in a timely manner, in a responsible manner, and also in a cost competitive manner. And this is not only up to us, it's also around our own supply chain and ecosystem, people, rare earth metals, etc. And here also Siemens Energy is playing a role in connecting these dots and talking to these partners and trying to aggregate this demand, draw a picture of the future, and move into this direction as fast as we can. And as it has been said today in the plenary, as bold as we can, because it takes courage to do this.
When you talk to the customers of Siemens Energy, what's keeping them up at night? What is something they want from us to deliver, aside from just constant electricity?
You talked to more customers than me recently. So.
No, I think the biggest concern I hear is timing. Are you fast enough? For the first time, I think, really in the development of the industry, time is really the essence, right? And this is something which is new to the industry, and it's about months, right? It's not about years. It's about, can you be 2 months faster or 3 months faster? And that is the big concern, whether we, from the customer side, whether we understand this. And I really can confirm, yes, we understand. There is this urgency, but this is probably the most things I hear.
What about, I would love to hear a little bit about what keeps you two also up at night, if this is what keeps customers up at night.
For me, definitely it's this responsibility I talked about. Speed is something we have never seen before. Execution is definitely a topic that comes after the availability of parts and equipment and product and so on. So the responsibility we have towards the industry, the responsibility we have towards our customers, and of course, it's a great opportunity for Siemens Energy. It's, in my view, once of a lifetime opportunity for us to redefine a new world that is unlocking huge potential coming out of artificial intelligence and digitalization. How can we seize this opportunity for our company, for our shareholders, but also for our industry?
No, it's going back to what you said first, right? I mean, it is a difficult task to find this balance between sustainability and providing this additional need for energy. And I work for this company with so much passion because I want to build a better energy world for my kids, for the societies. And this means also it has to be more sustainable, while we should not cut people short of electricity supply. And that is a complex task, and that keeps me up at night, but that's okay.
Christian, we know that Siemens Energy has seen its fair share of turbulence. Speaking of resilience, what has helped you keep the company resilient through times of crisis and change? And what's the biggest leadership lesson you learned from that?
And what kept me up during this time of turbulence was our people. We have the most fantastic people in our company, and it's a privilege to work with this team. And that was really, in a very difficult time, also for me personally, the one positive thing which kept me up every day. And what you learn in these times is also be prepared for the worst. And because there will be not too many helping hands from the outside if you struggle. And you have to think this through first. Think about what could happen, and then it's great if it does not hit you. But also, particularly in a time like now, also where everybody is positive and we are growing, and we discuss it a lot, right? Also, think from the downside what could happen, and what we have to ensure that we always can manage our fate ourselves. And this is how I look on the things even more today than 5 years ago. But that was one big learning. Make sure that you also plan all scenarios through.
Karim, I'd love to hear also from you. What did you learn? Because it was a time for the whole company. And of course, the gas business has seen also its fair share of turbulence over the years.
Look, it was a very tough time. And you had the entire world looking at you and having very black and white opinions about what will survive and what will not survive and so on. When it comes first to the company, I never had a doubt, because you look at the industry and the fundamentals of the industry was very sound. I mean, the world needs electricity, the world needs to transmit this electricity, the world needs a lot of the products and services that we offer. And we as a company, as of course Christian said, had a fantastic team, very capable, and a huge legacy and brand name. So this was standing in front of all the, I would say, doubts around the company and share price movement and so on. So from this perspective, I was sleeping at night. But I think the other topic of the lessons learned is definitely when it rains, it pours. And you really need to be prepared for a worst case scenario, because it could happen. Yeah? And it could happen not only because you did something wrong, it could happen because the circumstances lined up this way. And the best companies that takes from one step to the other, their business from one step to the others, are those who think about this scenario and get prepared for it. And this, for me, was the best lesson learned out of this crisis.
You both mentioned planning and thinking of scenarios. What's the scenario for the future for Siemens Energy?
Yeah, exactly. Prepared for the unexpected, right? And this is what we're trying to do as a company, to get more agile, that we get more faster in reacting, and putting some nuts in the trees somewhere for the bad times, to make sure that you have enough time to maneuver through. But we will be facing an unpredictable, volatile world, and that is great message for companies which are good in managing complexity and which are agile. And that is what I think we need to try to achieve as a company.
Before we end, thank you so much for this great episode, for the interaction with the audience. I want to end it on a bit of an imagination note. You both mentioned a bit redefining energy systems, redefining the world, how we know it. Christian, if you had the chance today to redesign the global energy system from scratch, no legacy, no politics, what would it look like?
I'm a strong believer that you cannot design the energy system by a map and saying this is how it exactly looks like. What you have to achieve is that you put tools in your toolbox to build it step after step and see what you need and what didn't work and work. So if I could choose one thing, I would choose a toolbox full of flexibility in terms of finding different tools, because it's not so easy that you would say this is exactly how it looks like. It's more complex than this. So no easy answer, but I would rather look for the toolbox to help me to build it on the way, step after step, instead of saying that's a final solution. Maybe Karim has a final solution.
No, I would like to work on the toolbox itself to really, as a company, to really provide products and innovations that could fill the toolbox of Christian with different solutions that works in different geographies with different needs and features, and be ahead a bit of the market demand rather than responding and chasing. So this is what I would imagine.
Okay, thank you so much to both of you. Thank you to everybody who joined us live from ADIPEC.
Thanks to you.
Thank you. Christian, we'd love to have you in future episodes as well. This is at the beginning. So thank you so much to everybody who tuned in. This has been episode 3 of That Energy Show. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and interact with our channel on YouTube. And stay tuned for the next one. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.